So I'm really looking forward to the No Kings rally this Saturday. But the one thing I've been disappointed with all No Kings rallies I've attended is that I wish that more black people came. And I know there's been this debate on the socials with a lot of black influencers saying, that No Kings in these rallies, that's not our fight. And they say it's not our fight, and they don't feel compelled, or they don't have a desire to attend, because they say a couple of things. They say that, too many white people refuse to support Kamala Harris for president. And and they say they basically, because they're too racist, whatever, they just don't want to see a black woman president. And I'm sure that there is an element of that, but at the same time, I mean, in my opinion, Harris was a flawed candidate in a lot of ways that made it difficult for her to win. For one thing, she and the Democratic Party was so wedded to supporting Israel in this genocidal war in Gaza that there were many people who couldn't vote for that. The other issue is that the Democratic Party leadership, I feel like, let voters down by letting Biden stand up for re-election when certainly insiders knew that Biden's health or his cognitive function was seriously compromised. And in my opinion, they had a right, they had an obligation to tell us the truth and then to present us with a candidate who is fit and ready and able to run. But all that's like fighting the last war. The issue before us right now is in terms of black people not going to and not wanting to support this. And this is my opinion. I mean, so people will will disagree with me and so forth, and I understand that, and I appreciate that, and I'll accept, the criticism and everything. But in my opinion, whenever human rights and civil rights are being endangered, that black people, we're the first ones, we're the ones who are going to suffer the most. And so we fought for those rights before, and we still need to fight for it every single day. And I look at No Kings as being an opportunity to fight for, I'm talking about the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. And Lord knows those documents, those proclamations, are certainly not are not without fault, but they're the best thing that we have right now. And I feel like any time, in my opinion, anytime human rights are being endangered, that we black people, we're going to suffer more than anybody else. Now, a lot of people have rushed to the No Kings thing after they saw what happened to Renee Good and Alex Preedy in Minneapolis, where even white people are realizing that, hey, this whole fight about rights is real. I know some black people said, daggone, they shot them people down like they were black. Yeah, they did. This is the time to stand up. And, people will make their own decisions, but I sure hope that, the more black people, will consider attending and participating and helping to lead this movement forward. Years ago, when I was still a journalist at the Orlando Sentinel, I had an opportunity to interview civil rights legend Andrew Young. And he told me that the civil rights movement of the 1960s was the first time that America had been confronted and forced to live up to the principles that were in the Declaration of Independence, the principles that were in the Bill of Rights. It is always going to be a fight. We're always going to have to fight for our rights and to maintain those rights. And this is another opportunity to do that, because the ones who will be placed in the most jeopardy, the ones who suffer the most, are people who look like me. So in Orlando, the No Kings rally will be at Orlando City Hall, Saturday, March 28th, from noon until 2 p.m. I hope you'll consider attending. If you live in other cities, you can find out where your closest No Kings rally is by going to the website nokings.org. Please join us, because we as Americans are fighting for our rights and our lives.